Let's talk about that Russian guy, who came to Africa and took advantage of you women. It's not about morality, it's not about cheapness, it's not about easiness, it's not about loneliness, it's not about that. The number one content on porn sites right now is incest content. But number two is these hidden cameras. Sali unafanya 2 minutes. Somebody is watching. Somebody is watching. You know what the guy said? He was on CNN. He was like, oh my God, I've never felt so violated. I'm like, how? You've never felt so violated? What the fuck? That is Kamau. Faster than faster. Come, rapper. Steamer. Vitima. That has happened less than before even you at in the afterlife. No, here. Because you can't be watching other people, enjoying watching people who are being recorded without their consent, never thinking about one day that could be you. Okay? Am I making sense now? Okie dokie, let's talk about that Russian guy. Yep, this episode is only about that Russian guy. Why? It's because of how this issue has been handled. So we'll start from the top. What happened? A Russian guy comes into Africa. I think he's been spotted in Ghana and he's been spotted in Kenya. His MO is the same. He goes, he approaches a lady, he speaks minimal Russian, right? Or minimal English, and he then entices the lady as, let's go out on a date. And then whatever transpires after that or before or during, he's recording without their consent. He has meta glasses. And a lot of these women, then he later posts the video online, right? Now, a lot of the women were not aware that they were being recorded without their consent. Right? I don't know, it rings a bell. Do you remember when Sonko was recording people and conversations in private? Right? So, this happened. Now, remember 2 months ago, I posted on my socials and let people know that beware, there are people who are recording women with these glasses. So he's not the first one, but his story is quite significant. Why? Because when he came to Africa, he just moved with so much ease and picked women with so much ease. And from the women's accounts, the man seems like he's attractive. He seems like he's going places, and that, just the kind of man that a woman would be attracted to. What then has happened is people have, picked sides on this story. A lot of people have shared that the women were too easy, they deserve it. But I want us to separate the fact from the fiction. I want us to separate the problems from the actual issues on the table. Because from most people's understanding, it is the women's fault because willing buyer, willing seller. But this is what I want to ask. Was it a willing seller? Was it a willing, were the women doing this willingly knowing what they are getting themselves into? If the women knew that they were being recorded, would they have consented to go out with this guy? I want us to look at the facts, because men and women of all ages have gone on social media to say that these women are too easy, right? So I want to first mention something. We're going through very tough economic times, right? The socio-economic aspect of this conversation cannot be missed, right? These are women who are looking for a better life. Some of them, right? They're seeing the opportunity. Oh, here's a decent guy. He looks like he wants to take me out. He seems attractive. Why say no, right? And we have normalized that dating, the aspect of money plays a huge part, right? And women say it, like, if there's no money, there's no relationship. I'm not saying all women, but so you see this play in real time. Here's a guy who seems like he's a world traveler and he's attracted to me or he's interested in me. I'm going to give him my attention. Now, whatever transpired after that is neither here or there. There are people who are saying that the women went the whole way, but I haven't seen videos to suggest that. And so in the same regard, if it was a private relationship or a private situation, they would still have the choice of deciding whether they want to date this guy based on money or not. But the socio-economic aspect cannot be removed from the table, because women and men have put the money issues on the table when it comes to relationships. And we've seen how these ladies were roped in. I think them assuming that maybe this guy has money. We also have to put the conversation of neocolonialism, right? This is a big, big part of this conversation. Look at a random white guy just comes into Africa and is able to bag as many girls as possible. I've watched a Black American on his TikTok sharing that in Kenya, he's most desirable, right? And telling other tech bros, or not tech bros, digital nomads who are looking to move to Nairobi, or other Black Americans who are sitting in America and going like, with Trump's America, let me find somewhere where I'll be of value and I will be seen as someone of, who's attractive. And they come to Kenya, and this man was sharing that in Kenya, he feels like he is, he's at the top of the food chain. You get what I'm saying? So I think this is a colonial mindset, neocolonialism. All our TV shows sort of have a conversation around what kind of guy is most desirable, right? If you look at Hollywood shows, the white guy always he's the guy who swoops in, he's the guy who, he's the guy who saves the damsel in distress. There's a conversation, or if you ask a lot of women, they'll tell you that, the white guy, he'll treat you better, he listens more than my African counterpart. So all these are narratives that have been perpetuated, so that you're now seeing the results of women who think, okay, you know what, because he's white, chances are he's rich. Because he's white, chances are he'll listen. Because he's white, chances are we can travel, right? But it's not always the case. And and take it from me, and most people know that not all white people have money. The question also has to be asked, is there another person or another race that can be able to pull this off? I asked this question. Can a Kenyan man go around recording women and being able to rope them in this easy? Can a Kenyan man travel from Kenya and go to another country to do this? And I don't think it's because of whether he's attractive or not. It's where he's been positioned in this social construct that has been created, where can a Nigerian man pull this off? And if your answer is yeah, because he has money, it's the aspect that I'm talking about, that these social constructs are created. And what you see what you see happening is them playing out in real life, where a babe who is approached by a Nigerian guy, chances are will give him her ear. But if she's approached, like, let's say, by somebody from, a Kenyan, especially one who has never traveled, they'll think, they'll look at you up and down and decide whether you're worth her time, right? Forget even white or other races or other tribes or other nationalities. Let's even talk just here locally, right? Babes say that if a guy approaches you and says, Niaje Msupa, automatically he has already told you his economic status. But if he comes to you with some English, like, hello, sister, and starts talking like Kasmuel, right? Chances are you'll think Kizungu is equals to money. These are social constructs that have been set in our minds. They are sort of like a neocolonialism. And here I want you to understand that at the top of this food chain is a Caucasian man. So I wouldn't blame my sisters for falling for this nonsense. There's also the morality issue that has been picked by a lot of people who are like, how immoral can you be? How quickly can you be picked up by someone off the street? And I'm like, who are you to cast aspersions on someone else's morality? I'm going to use the words of Jesus, John chapter 8, verse 7 to 11. And I know you know the story. There was a lady who was a prostitute. Can't trust people who write the Bible. And she was being attacked. In fact, she was supposed to be stoned. And Jesus said, he without sin cast the first stone. So as you're watching these ladies and saying, they deserve it because, prostitution, or they are too cheap, or that's what you deserve for going for money, I just want to say, he without sin cast the first stone. And look, it's not only babes who like money. Listen, have you ever seen a guy in front of another guy who has money? A guy who he thinks can be able to provide him something, can be able to open a door for him. right? What does he start calling him? Hey, mkubwa, ni chief, right? That's the same thing. That's the same thing. And if this guy, and I've even seen, you see in social settings where a guy is even told, take this, go and get for me the jacket in the car. You've not seen that? That's the same thing we're talking about. It's not that babes love money more than men. Everybody likes money. Everybody wants to remove themselves from their economic position. If they can see that someone can be able to help me, a lot of us would fall for the trap. Now, depending, right? Depending. See, you're looking at these ladies and looking at them and saying, you're too easy. But I'm asking you, if Bill Gates came here, I'm not even going to finish that. If Elon Musk came here, would you even ask twice? Right? I'm just saying, right? And this question I'm asking to both men and women. If Elon Musk came here and he offered you a job, right? Would you even remember you are walking with your girlfriend? So several times we've seen this. So to bring this issue that, it's morality, it's this, is that, my guy, just the same way we tell poor people, never judge rich people by saying, if I had money, I'd give to the poor. If I had money, I'd be using it wisely. I wouldn't be wasting it. Ngoja upate pesa, ndio uongee. And the same thing for rich people. You say, you can't judge poor people until you've walked that journey. You can't be telling a poor person, maybe you should do this and that. Sir, have you been poor before? Then shut the fuck up. Hidden camera issue. This is a huge, huge issue. And I feel like a lot of people are not even understanding, or even understanding you're not even, that this is the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. This is not the first or the last time you will see this issue. And that's why it's so important right now to learn the lesson quickly, so that when it happens to you, which it will, you don't come here and start telling us, no, me, I'm moral. I wasn't trying to, because it could happen anywhere. It could happen at your job there. You are busy kissing the ass of your boss. When that video comes out, tutajiteteaje? When people record private conversations or private things that were meant to be private and they release them public, number one, that's a form of abuse. They've abused your privacy. Right? And that's why we talk about confidential conversations. You're telling this person in confidence that whatever we are talking about will be between me and you. And you have a right to seek legal redress, right? If this has happened to you. But the reality is a lot of people just don't understand how deep this issue is. So let me tell you. First question you need to ask yourself is, huyu ndio ule alipatikana? This one is the one who was found out. Like, we found out about him. But how many people are probably doing this? You don't even know if you've been recorded. I saw a lot of people judging these babes, but let me tell you, even if your personal video with your boyfriend comes out, the public will still call you a prostitute. Even if this video comes out of you and your husband, the people who will watch it will still call you a prostitute. So, as you sit on your high horse judging these girls, oh my God, they are so easy, they are so cheap. Sis, sit back. Let me tell you how you are probably on some sites that you're not even aware of. Okay? Come close. So, South Korea, a whole syndicate was found out. One guy, one machine, 60,000 hidden cameras in hotel rooms. Yeah. You remember your last trip? You remember how you booked that fancy hotel, right? Where you were going to give it all to someone's husband, or give it all to your husband, or give it all to your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or your wife. I don't care. Everybody could be a victim, right? So there you are in the privacy of your hotel room, right? With the person that you really care about. And then you guys decide to do the diribo, the ngonos, right? But you don't know that there are hidden cameras all being put in this hotel room. And that there's a live feed that's going to people who are just streaming and watching you all over the world. Not only that the videos are being recorded and being hosted on porn sites. Now get this, right? The number one content on porn sites right now is incest content. But number two is these hidden cameras. Yes, Jonte, umekumbuka, Stacy, you know how you like watching those videos of hidden camera, blah, blah, blah. Those are real people. They're real people who do not know that they're being recorded in private. Now, I know at that point is when you're like, actually, that's kind of sexy. But you didn't think that it could be you, Cindy. Yeah. So, just like that moment you have had where you thought, oh my God, fuck, that could be me. Yes. Is how these ladies found themselves on the internet. They never thought that someone could be recording their private moments. Now, this is going to be a real big problem because these cameras, first, there's the demand. People want to watch people being recorded in private, okay, without their consent. The idea of somebody not being aware that they're being recorded apparently turns you on more, okay? Of course, not more than incest because, that's the stuff you like. But this hidden camera business is becoming much bigger. And that's why this guy had the confidence to come across Africa where he understands that first, I'm at the apex of the food chain. Meaning that I can just walk around this continent and pick women because the psychological messing around has already happened. They look at me, they think, ticket to freedom, ticket to social, I can change my socio-economic status, right? I can leave this country. How many Kenyans want to leave this country, right? They're trying to get their passports, trying to get out, right? And if I can do this via marriage, why not? I know a lot of people have judged these ladies, but think about the amount of people who are currently staying in America, married for a visa, for a passport. No, I've paused so that you can think of your auntie who has never come back from the States, your uncle, who's married to some white babe that there's no love there, right? If we put hidden cameras somewhere without their consent, what kind of, how basic would your uncle look? How basic would your auntie look? You know what I'm saying? So guys, I hope you're sipping your tea because it gets better. This is not just a South Korea problem, guys. Hiki chunguza vizuri. You'll find that even in your office toilet, someone has put a camera there. How would you know? How would you know? How would you know? How would you know? If you scroll back about 3 years ago, we're sitting here with Joyce and Carrie, and I said, Mambo ya mechi. Okay? Mambo ya mechi. Because you're like, me I'm married. Me I have a boyfriend, Jonte. Oh, me I have a girlfriend. What if this bitch is recording you? What if she has hidden cameras? You're asking why she would have them? I don't know. People are freaky. People are freaky as fuck. Okay? And the cameras are available. You wouldn't know. Hata ujaingia kwa nyumba, hii ni first time yako, umeongea na mtu kwa internet, alafu all of a sudden amekwambia kuja tufanye mechi kwa nyumba. And you're like, yo, you're being led by the power of the dick. Hua! Umekimbia. Dick Airways, umefika. Okay? You've entered the house. You do not know where she has put these cameras. Because people, you have to remember, the demand around the world for this kind of content is out of order. Yeah, you are seated in that Telegram group, right? Just receiving videos. You never thought that my guy, it could be me. Let me tell you a story. There's a guy in South Korea. This guy used to love watching this content. Yani, this is his kind of content. Okay? He goes when he finishes work or even during work. I don't know how you watch your porn. Okay? It's not my kind of tea. This guy is there sitting, he's watching. I don't know which position he was seated. But then, as he's watching this video, he then goes like, "Hey, you matako inaka familiar. That crack looks familiar. So familiar, actually, it could be mine." Oh my goodness. This video is of me and my wife. And that's how he found out that the hotel where he had gone to be staying at with his babe, that there were hidden cameras, right? Not only were they recording, but there was a live stream. Sale unafanya 2 minutes. Somebody is watching. Somebody is watching. You know what the guy said? He was on CNN. He was like, "Oh my God, I've never felt so violated." I'm like, "How? You've never felt so violated?" That is Kamau. Faster than faster. Come, rapper. Steamer. Vitima. That has happened less than before even you at in the afterlife. No, here. Because you can't be watching other people, enjoying watching people who are being recorded without their consent, never thinking about one day that could be you. Okay? Am I making sense now? Hakuna haja ya kujudge watu. Ukae uko on your high horse na ujui kama kuna video yako uko nje. Okay? Thank you. So this is not a gender issue, which what people are trying to make it. I've seen a lot of men online going like, these women are they are prostitutes, they are cheap, they are cheeky. Ndakwambia tu pole pole usikie. Walai si ati mademu hawakupendi. Kwa sababu uko broke. That's the society. It's not women who've created this situation. It's just the society. Na hata kama ni decide Jonte ni kudate ka uko broke na mimi niko na pesa, psychology yako haiwezi allow to be taken care of. Na najua unasema mimi imagine nimekubali. Wacha nikwambie. You have to go out there and work. That's the reality of life. Ujikubali, right? And babes have been conditioned to think. You've had the psychological, the issues, hapa pale, right? She loves you. But what can you do for her? Right? So to be annoyed at babes, right? To be angry, to look at these babes and look at this at the time to be able to stone them rather than protect our women. Because I asked this question. What part of the food chain do you think you sit as a Kenyan man? I'll help you. Do you think a Kenyan man can do this anywhere in the world? Even just UG. Nafikiri kuna Kenyan man anaweza fanya kitu UG. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just how the food chain has been set up. And Nigerians have figured out even the brokest Nigerian can be able to pull this off. Why? Because there's a perception. Perception. You understand? The same thing is happening to Kenyan men. A perception. And that's why I asked the question, right? If you approach it, let's say you see this hot babe, right? Fine thing. And she specs everything. I don't know what you like, whatever, right? She fits the specs, right? And you approach her and you say, ni aje msupa. How far do you think you'll go with that? What are the chances of you actually scoring, with, like, do you think that opens up the world for you or it narrows it down? Because the same Kenyan women, I'm a Kenyan woman, right? Na mi wonge shame. Mi baby, napendanga all types of people. Lakini saa kauna kula jaba. Mdomo imekauka. Mguu zinanuka. Bro, fuck it. Hygiene is free. It's not about money, right? But if you switch it up, udunge kisuti hivi, right? Tuanze kuongea kizunguzungu, right? You notice that it changes how people start. So I need you to understand that women are not the problem. It's just a perception, right? And we're going to deal with it. Another thing you need to understand, that women are willing to be lonely rather than deal with the issues that are currently going on. And that's a big thing we need to understand. That women are so lonely that the first guy who hollers, because it was not just in Kenya. I need you to watch all the videos to see, right? How women were basically, like there were women who were offering him food, right? So it wasn't about money, as all of you have said, oh, it's about money. It's not. It's not. It's not. Women are lonely. Okay? Not every woman who's alone is lonely, but a lot of them are. And we can see it. And maybe they've been disappointed because we also have our issues here. Let's see how we talk about women. See how exciting it is. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait to date this Kenyan guy who thinks maybe I'm a liar. Because I have money. Oh my God, I can't wait to date a Kenyan guy who's on Twitter or X just talking shit about women. You understand? So these are the effects. It's not that women have chosen to be single. There are women right now even telling us their preference are white men. Because, and you listen, they say, I feel like I'll be treated better. Treated. They're settling for basic, guys, basic, just so that they can get out of this ecosystem. Maybe they've seen their brothers. Maybe they've seen their father. Maybe they've dated one or two junkies. So, again, get the fuck off your high horse. This is an issue that affects us all. Okay? Your sister, your mother, people are being recorded without consent. So the issue here is not about morality. It's not about cheapness. It's not about easiness. It's not about loneliness. It's not about that. It's about a man who came to Africa and took advantage of your women. And instead of defending them, you insult them. You expose them. Yes, they made mistakes. But he, without sin, cast the motherfucking stone. Drops mic. Kappa!